Hey kids, have you ever heard the incredible story of the 10 plagues of Egypt? Well, sit tight and get comfy because I'm about to take you on a magical journey back in time to ancient Egypt. A long, long time ago, in the distant and mysterious land of Egypt, lived a people called the Israelites. But they weren't happy because they had to work really, really hard for the Egyptians, under the rule of a king named Pharaoh. God saw how much the Israelites were suffering and decided to help them. So God called upon a man named Moses. God told Moses to go to Pharaoh and ask him to free the Israelites, but Pharaoh was stubborn and didn't want to listen. So God sent 10 terrible plagues upon Egypt to show his power and convince Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. The first plague turned all the water in Egypt into blood. The fish died and people didn't have clean water to drink, but Pharaoh's heart stayed hard and unyielding. Next came the second plague, bringing an enormous number of frogs. Frogs were everywhere, in houses, ovens, and even beds. But still, Pharaoh didn't change his mind. Then the third plague brought lice. These tiny itchy creatures infested people and animals. And the fourth plague brought swarms of flies that covered everything and made life unbearable. But Pharaoh still refused to let the people go. The fifth plague was a disease that killed many of the Egyptians' animals, like horses, cows, and sheep. And in the sixth plague, painful boils appeared on the skin of people and the remaining animals. The seventh plague brought hailstones so heavy that they destroyed crops and buildings. And then, the eighth plague covered Egypt with a cloud of locusts that devoured everything left of the plants. The ninth plague was a darkness so thick that it covered Egypt for 3 whole days. No one could see anything and fear filled the hearts of the people. Despite all these terrible plagues, Pharaoh still refused to free the Israelites. So God sent the 10th and final plague. This was the saddest of all, the death of all the firstborn in Egypt. But God protected the houses of the Israelites, and they were safe. Finally, Pharaoh realized he couldn't fight against God and allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt. Moses led his people out towards freedom, and they were never slaves again. And that, kids, is the story of the 10 plagues of Egypt. A tale of courage, faith, and the incredible journey of a people seeking their freedom. Thanks for watching, and see you next time for more amazing stories.